My name is Priya. I want to tell you my story. I come from a warm country, far away. A place with bright sunshine, colorful clothes, and loud, happy families. My family was not rich, but we had love. Lots of love. My mother always cooked delicious food. The house always smelled like spices and flowers. My father told funny stories. My brothers and sisters played noisy games. It was a happy home. Then I met David. He came to my country for work. He was from America. He was different from the boys I knew. Quiet, polite, with kind blue eyes. He smiled at me one day at a small market. We started talking. His English was fast. My English was slow. But we understood each other somehow. We understood the smiles, the feelings. We fell in love. It felt like a dream. He asked me to marry him. He said he wanted to take me to America, to his home, to meet his family. My heart was full of love, but also full of fear. America seemed so far away, so different. Leaving my family felt like pulling a part of my heart out. My mother cried when I told her. "Be happy, my daughter," she said. "But never forget who you are." My father hugged me tight. "Be strong, Priya," he whispered. David told me about his parents. He said they lived in a small town, a quiet town. He said they were good people, simple people. He lived with them. He said we would live there too for a little while, just until we saved enough money for our own place. I believed him. I trusted him. Love makes you trust easily, maybe too easily. So I said goodbye to my warm home, my family, my sunshine. I packed my bags. I put in photos of my family, a small bracelet my mother gave me. I got on a big airplane for the first time. My stomach felt funny. My eyes were wet with tears. David held my hand, but he seemed quiet. A little nervous, maybe. When we arrived in America, it was cold. So cold. Gray skies. Wind that bit my face. I had never felt cold like that before. David's parents were waiting at the airport. Mr. and Mrs. Miller. David's mother, Mrs. Miller, was tall and thin. She didn't smile much. Her eyes looked me up and down. She said hello, but her voice was cold. Like the weather. Mr. Miller was quiet. He nodded his head but didn't say much. He looked serious. Their house was nice, clean, very clean. But it was quiet. So quiet. No loud talking, no music playing, no smell of spices cooking, just silence, and the ticking of a big clock on the wall. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It felt strange, empty. They showed me to our room. It was small, clean, simple. I sat on the bed. My suitcase felt heavy. My heart felt heavier. I missed my home already. I missed the noise, the warmth, my mother's smile. David came in. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded, but I wasn't okay. I felt like a small boat lost in a very big, cold ocean. The next morning, the problems started. Mrs. Miller knocked on my door early. Too early. "Priya," she said. Her voice was sharp. "Breakfast is at 7. After that, the kitchen needs cleaning. And the floors need washing." She gave me a list. A long list of chores: cleaning the bathroom, washing the clothes, dusting the furniture, cooking dinner. I looked at the list. My English was not perfect, but I understood. I was not a guest. I was not a daughter-in-law. I felt like a servant. I looked at David. Is this normal? I asked him later quietly. He looked uncomfortable. Mom likes the house clean, Priya, he said. She's just particular. Try to do your best. Try to keep her happy. Keep her happy? What about me? What about my happiness? But I didn't say that. I was new here. I didn't want to cause trouble. So I started working. Every day. From morning until night. I cleaned. I washed. I dusted. I cooked. My hands became rough from cleaning. My back hurt from bending over. Mrs. Miller watched me. Always watched me. If I missed a spot of dust, she pointed it out. If I took a rest for 5 minutes, she would find something else for me to do. Don't be lazy, Priya, she often said. Lazy? I was working harder than I ever had in my life. Mr. Miller didn't say much, but sometimes he would look at me with cold eyes, especially when I spoke. My English was still slow. Sometimes I used the wrong words. He would correct me, not kindly, but sharply. It made me feel small, stupid. I started speaking less. It was easier to stay quiet. Silence was safer. David didn't help. He went to work, came home, ate the dinner. I cooked, watched TV with his father. He didn't see how tired I was. He didn't see the sadness in my eyes. Or maybe he saw, but he didn't want to know. When I tried to talk to him, he would say, "Don't worry so much, Priya." Or, "It will get better." But it didn't get better. It got worse. I missed my food, my mother's cooking. Mrs. Miller wanted plain food, boiled vegetables, roasted meat, no spices, no flavor. It tasted like cardboard to me. One day, I felt brave. I decided to cook a chicken curry, a simple dish from my home. I bought the spices, secretly with the small money David gave me sometimes. The kitchen filled with the warm, familiar smell. For a moment, I felt happy, like I was home. But when I served the dinner, Mrs. Miller looked at the plate with a frown. "What is this smell?" she asked sharply. Mr. Miller poked at the chicken with his fork. "It looks strange," he said. They took one small bite each. Then they pushed their plates away. "It's too strong," Mrs. Miller said. "We prefer plain food, Priya." David said nothing. He ate his food quietly. My heart broke. My small attempt to share my world, my culture, was rejected. After that, I only cooked their plain food. I felt so alone, trapped in that clean, quiet, cold house. My only connection to my old life was my phone. I called my mother once a week, usually late at night when everyone was asleep. I would hide in the small bathroom and whisper into the phone. "I'm fine, Mama." I always lied. "Everything is good. They are nice." I didn't want her to worry. Hearing her voice was like drinking water after being thirsty for days. But after the call ended, the loneliness felt even bigger. Months passed, maybe 6 months. 6 months of cleaning, cooking, silence, and cold looks. I cried often, silently, in the bathroom, or into my pillow at night. David slept beside me, but he felt miles away. He didn't hold me. He didn't ask why I was crying. He just slept. I wondered if he still loved me. I wondered if I had made the biggest mistake of my life moving across the world for this love, for this life. I started to lose weight. My clothes felt loose. My eyes had dark circles under them. I didn't smile anymore. Even when I talked to my mother, it was hard to sound happy. One day, she said, "Priya, my child, your voice sounds thin, like a sad song. Are you sure you are okay?" I started crying. I couldn't help it. "I miss you, Mama," I sobbed. "I miss home so much." I didn't tell her everything, but she knew. Mothers always know. "Be strong, little bird," she said softly. "Find your strength." Her words stayed with me. Find my strength. But where was it? I felt weak, powerless, like a leaf blown by a cold wind. I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes looked dull. My face looked sad. This wasn't Priya. The happy girl from the warm country was gone, replaced by this tired, silent woman. One afternoon, Mrs. Miller asked me to clean the garage. It was cold and dusty, full of old things. As I was moving some boxes, I found a small, old wooden bird cage. It was empty, dirty, forgotten. I looked at it for a long time. I felt like that cage, empty inside, left in a cold, dark corner. Suddenly, I felt angry. Not just sad, angry. Angry at Mrs. Miller. Angry at Mr. Miller. Angry at David for not protecting me. And angry at myself for letting this happen. For being so quiet. So weak. That anger felt different. It wasn't a loud anger. It was a quiet fire starting inside me. Maybe my mother was right. Maybe I could find my strength. I didn't know how. But the thought was there, a small seed planted in the cold ground of my heart. The quiet fire inside me started to grow, slowly. It wasn't enough to make me shout or fight back. Not yet. But it was enough to make me think. I started watching, listening, not just accepting everything. I noticed how David acted around his parents. He seemed nervous sometimes, afraid to disagree with them, especially his mother. He was like a young boy, not a grown man. Maybe he was trapped too, in his own way. That thought didn't make me forgive him, but it made me understand a little. He was weak. He couldn't stand up for me because he couldn't stand up for himself. Knowing this made me feel less alone in my unhappiness, but also more determined. I realized nobody was coming to save me. If I wanted things to change, I had to change them myself. My English was still a problem. Mr. Miller's sharp corrections made me afraid to speak. But I needed to speak. I needed words to find my strength. I found an old dictionary in the garage that day I cleaned it. I started looking up words secretly at night. Simple words first. Words for feelings. Sad, angry, tired, strong, hope, free. I practiced saying them softly to myself. I also started paying more attention outside the house. When I went for groceries, Mrs. Miller always gave me a strict list and exact money. I looked at people. Women working in shops. Women driving cars. Women talking and laughing together. They seemed free, independent. I wanted that. One day, when I was buying vegetables, I saw another woman who looked a little like me. Maybe from India or Pakistan. She had kind eyes. She smiled at me. I felt shy, but I smiled back. The next week, I saw her again. This time she spoke to me. "Hello," she said. Her English was also careful, like mine. "My name is Annika." "I'm Priya," I said. My voice was quiet. We talked for a few minutes. Just simple things. The weather. The vegetables. It felt good to talk to someone who might understand. Annika told me she came here 5 years ago. She worked as a cleaner in a nearby hotel. She lived with her husband in a small apartment, not with his family. We started meeting at the market sometimes, just for a few minutes. Annika was strong. She told me stories about her struggles when she first arrived, how she learned English, how she found a job, how she and her husband saved money for their own place. "It's not easy, Priya," she said one day, "living in a new country, especially with difficult family. But you are not alone, and you are stronger than you think." Her words were like water on the small seed of hope inside me. Stronger than I think? Was I? Annika told me about a free English class for women at the community center. "You should go," she urged me. "It helps a lot. You meet people too." The idea scared me. How could I go? Mrs. Miller would never allow it. David would say I was too busy. But Annika's words stayed with me. I wanted to learn. I wanted to meet people. I wanted more. I decided to ask David. I chose a moment when he seemed relaxed. After dinner, while his parents were watching TV. "David," I said quietly, "there is a free English class at the community center. Just 2 evenings a week. Can I go? Please?" He looked surprised. "An English class? Why? Your English is okay." "I want it to be better," I said. My voice was soft but firm. "I want to understand more, to speak more easily." He hesitated. "I don't know, Priya. Mom needs help in the evenings." "It's only 2 hours," I said. "Twice a week. Please, David. It's important to me." I looked directly into his eyes. Maybe he saw something different there. A spark of the determination Annika saw. He sighed. "Okay," he said finally. "I guess it's okay. But don't let the housework suffer." My heart leaped. He said yes. It was a small victory, but it felt enormous. I told Annika the good news. She was happy for me. "See, you are strong," she said. Going to the class was like opening a door to a new world. The teacher was kind. The other women were like me, from different countries, with different stories. But we all shared the same hope, to learn, to connect, to build a better life. I was shy at first, but I listened hard. I practiced speaking. Every new word I learned felt like a step towards freedom. Mrs. Miller didn't like it. "Why waste your time?" she said. "Your place is here, in the house." Mr. Miller ignored it mostly, but I didn't care what they thought anymore. I was doing something for myself, for Priya. Learning English gave me confidence. Talking to the women in my class gave me perspective. I heard their stories. Some were harder than mine, some were happier. But all of them were trying. Just like me. I realized I wasn't the only one feeling lost or alone. Annika became a good friend. Sometimes after class, we would have tea together, at a small cafe. I started telling her more about my life, about the constant chores, the coldness, David's weakness. She listened without judgment. "Priya," she said one day, holding my hand across the table. "This is not right. You are his wife, not his maid. You deserve respect. You deserve your own life." Her words hit me hard. My own life. Yes, that's what I wanted. Not just escape, but a life of my own. With David, if he could be strong with me, or without him if he couldn't. The thought was scary, terrifying, but it was also exciting. I started thinking about work. Annika worked. The women in my class worked, or were looking for work. Maybe I could too. I didn't have many skills for this country, but I was good with my hands. I could sew. Back home, I used to help my mother make clothes. Maybe I could find a small job, doing alterations, or working in a fabric shop. The idea grew in my mind. A job meant my own money. Money meant independence. Independence meant choices. It meant I wouldn't be trapped forever. I didn't tell David or his parents yet. It was my secret plan, my secret hope. I started looking around, asking Annika, checking notices at the community center. It felt like I was finally taking control. Not just waiting for things to get better, but actively trying to build something for myself. The house was still cold. Mrs. Miller still gave orders. Mr. Miller still corrected my English sometimes. David was still passive, but something inside me had changed forever. I was no longer the scared, silent girl who arrived here a year ago. I was Priya, and I was finding my strength. One word, one class, one secret plan at a time. My secret plan gave me a new energy. Even though my daily life with the Millers didn't change much, I felt different inside. I had a goal, a hope that was mine alone. I continued going to my English classes. My speaking improved. I understood more. I felt less afraid to talk. I started looking for small jobs. Annika helped me look at online ads. We checked notices in local shops. It was difficult. Many jobs needed better English or experience. I didn't have. I felt discouraged sometimes. Was this just a foolish dream? One day, Annika told me about a small dry cleaning shop near her apartment. The owner, Mrs. Gable, was an older woman. She sometimes needed help with simple sewing repairs, mending seams, fixing buttons, hemming trousers. Maybe you can talk to her? Annika suggested. She is kind. I felt nervous. Very nervous. Going for a job interview? Talking to a stranger about work? It seemed like a huge step. What if my English wasn't good enough? What if she didn't like me? But Annika encouraged me. Just try, Priya, she said. What is the worst that can happen? She says no? Okay. Then we look somewhere else, but maybe she says yes. So I went. My hands were cold and shaky. I wore my best simple dress. I walked into the small shop. It smelled of clean clothes and steam. Mrs. Gable was behind the counter. She had white hair and wore glasses. She looked busy, but smiled when she saw me. Can I help you? She asked. My voice was small. My friend, Annika, told me. Maybe you need help with sewing? I stumbled over the words. Mrs. Gable looked at me kindly. Annika sent you? She's a good girl. You sew? Yes, I said. A little. My mother taught me. She gave me a simple test. A pair of trousers with a loose hem. Can you fix this? She asked. I sat down at a small table in the back. My fingers trembled at first. But then, the familiar feel of the needle and thread calmed me. I focused. Stitch by stitch, I finished it neatly. Mrs. Gable looked at my work carefully. She nodded slowly. Good, she said. Very neat. Can you come for a few hours? Maybe 2 afternoons a week, when I am busy? My heart soared. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. I almost cried. With happiness. It wasn't much, just a few hours. The pay was small, but it was a start. It was my start. I didn't tell the Millers or David at first. It was my secret, my little piece of independence. I told them I was going to the library or visiting Annika. Working at Mrs. Gable's shop felt wonderful. She was patient with my English. She taught me new things. How to use the big sewing machine, how to press clothes properly. I learned quickly. And earning my own money, even just a little, felt amazing. I saved every penny. I hid it carefully. It was my escape fund. My future fund. Having the job, the classes, and Annika's friendship made me stronger. I started feeling less like a victim, more like a person with possibilities. My relationship with David was still difficult. I tried talking to him again, more seriously this time. "David," I said one evening. We were alone in the kitchen. "I am not happy living like this. Your parents, they are not kind to me. I work like a servant. I have no freedom. This is not a marriage." He looked stressed. "Priya, what do you want me to do? Fight with my parents every day? They won't change." "Then we need to change," I said firmly. "We need our own place, our own life. I cannot live here anymore. It's breaking me." "But the money?" he started. "We don't have enough." "I can work," I said. "I am working." I finally told him about my job with Mrs. Gable. He was surprised, maybe even a little impressed. "We can save together, David, if we both try. But I need you to be with me, not just living beside me, with me, as my husband, as my partner." He was quiet for a long time. He looked at me, really looked at me. Maybe he saw the change, the strength in my eyes that wasn't there before. "Okay, Priya," he said slowly. "Okay. Let's try. Let's save. Let's plan to get our own place." It wasn't a magic solution. Things didn't change overnight. Telling his parents was hard. Mrs. Miller was angry. "Leave? After all we've done for you?" she cried. Mr. Miller just grunted, but David, for the first time, stood firm beside me. "Mom, Dad, this is our decision," he said. His voice shook a little, but he said it. "We need our own life." It took many months, months of saving every dollar, months of quiet tension in the house. But we did it. David found a second part-time job in the evenings. I worked more hours with Mrs. Gable. We found a tiny apartment, just 2 rooms, but it felt like a palace. Moving out day was strange. Mrs. Miller cried. Mr. Miller looked angry, but I didn't feel scared anymore. I felt free. As we drove away, David reached over and took my hand. "I'm sorry, Priya," he said, "for not being stronger sooner." I squeezed his hand. "We are stronger now," I said, "together. Our new life is simple. We don't have much money. Our apartment is small. We both work hard, but we have peace. We have respect. We laugh together. I cook my spicy food sometimes, and David tries it. He makes a funny face, but he eats it. We talk. We listen to each other. It feels like a real marriage, a partnership. I still miss my home country, my family, the sunshine. Maybe one day we can visit. But I am building a new home here. A life that is mine. A life I chose. A life I fought for. Living with David's parents was hell. It was painful, lonely, hard. But it also made me find my strength. The strength my mother told me to find. It taught me that I deserve respect, that I have a voice, that I can build my own future. If you are in a difficult place right now, maybe feeling trapped or alone, please remember my story. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to cry. But don't let anyone take away your spirit. Find your strength, even if it starts as a tiny spark. Find your voice, even if it's just a whisper at first. Take small steps. Find allies. Believe in yourself. You deserve happiness. You deserve respect. You can build a better life. Keep hoping. Keep trying. Keep going.